And beyond that, what's his power? He can talk. First of all, out of the water, he's a liability. The likes of Wonder Woman and Robin have to fight his fights.
It'd be like if you or I were one of the
right.
The
yeah, you're a liability basically.
Yeah.
If you have a showdown, sort of like in
in the mountains. I'll come, guy. No, just clean the pool, Aquaman. Yeah.
Yeah, if it were Socius versus Greasers is what I'm saying. Like, they toe to toe meeting in a field. Like Aquaman again is a liability like Ponyboy who you'd have to cover up for.
Ponyboy got his ass kicked in that fight. Remember that?
Until the late great Swayze came and saved him.
Too soon.
All right, you're right. I don't want to get down about this. So, Aquaman, though, once he is even into the sea, once he puts himself into the sea, what's he do really? Except he dispatches the creatures of the sea to do his bidding. That's all he does. He doesn't do anything. He just sends out the message. He talks to hey. Look, Lex Luthor is in his evil submarine and he's going to launch those nuclear weapons and destroy the world. Hey, Octopus, why don't you do something about it?
Isn't that a talent in its own, though? Isn't that a special skill? On your resume, wouldn't that be a special skill?
Look out,
Can dispatch an octopus to take care of a nuclear warhead?
Lex, look out. The Penguin is about to do ill to the West Coast. Hey, Whale, why don't you go bang your head and stop him from doing that? And then he gets all the glory.
Why wouldn't he?
Because they always talked about him as being the friend of the fish, the best friend the fish ever had. If that's a friend, I don't want any enemies.
By the way,
poor fish. These fish are being duped by Aquaman, but Damashek's not.
Not to split hairs, though. If the Penguin was going to do any kind of damage, that's the Batman's territory. That's Batman and Robin.
You're right.
Wouldn't that be a weird thing? I always thought that'd be kind of funny. The
idea
literal, that what would happen if Lex Luthor is causing trouble and Batman's like, I got this. What are you talking about? I just went to the bathroom. Superman went to the bathroom.
Right?
If I'm not stopping Lex Luthor, what good am I?
Yeah. Didn't Seinfeld actually make jokes about that? That we really don't need any superheroes after Superman? Aren't they all sort of ancillary?
I remember he did some bit about what good is Aquaman because all he does is dispense fish to things. But
how dare you? Listen. But speaking of unnecessary, is Zan and Jaina, the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
These two, if you're not familiar with
unnecessary. No, actually, I don't agree with that. But go ahead.
Well, Zan and Jaina, they come down from their planet, and they're teenagers, and so they're not really in the Justice League. They're like superheroes in training. They don't get to go out and fight the Legion of Doom. They sort of are doing the training wheels kind of crime fighting, like, oh, someone's robbing a bank, send the kids, is how they treat them.
If that, no, they're more shoplifting.
Yeah, it's lame. Yeah,
someone steals a magazine from the rack, they're going to get Zan and Jaina and Gleek after them.
But they're so they're twins.
Don't forget Gleek.
Gleek, the blue monkey.
The space monkey.
They're ostensibly, they're twins, so you would assume equals, but they're anything but. And I think that whoever came up with these characters, it was a female empowerment yarn. Is really what the backstory.
In what way?
Well, because they're twins. The sister Jaina, she can be any animal in the animal kingdom.
Right.
You see, she could be a rhino. She could be a gorilla.
Any animal, I get it. All right.
Right. She could be a lion.
Right.
An alligator.
You can list them all. Go ahead.
An ape. She could do a snake if
By the way,
need be.
can she be an ocean animal? Can she be a fish? And then can Aquaman have control over her? That's
wow.
interesting.
Yeah.
That just blew your mind, David.
Wonder if that's his
in America.
Thing.
Huh?
Wonder if that's his thing. He gets her into the water, and then he has his way with her.
Well, it would be great if Aquaman started to frame people. It started to create his own crime in the ocean just to get Jaina into the ocean.
Just like Hanks
then he has her way.
Then he and Hanks could compare notes. Hanks at the end of Splash goes off with the mermaided Daryl Hannah for all of time. I always found
that he doesn't
very
become
disturbing.
A mermaid right now.
No, but he can live under the sea as long as he's by her side. That's the end of the movie. And she tells him, you can never come back, which is, I don't know why. Why couldn't he never come back? But anyway, he can never return to land. That's the end of the movie, and they swim off, supposedly happy. But how happy are they going to be? I mean, how is he going to be happy after a week? He can't even make sex on her. She's a mermaid.
How do you know he didn't have sex on her?
I mean, she can do things to him, but I don't think that...
Maybe that's the beginning of the Aquaman story. Maybe Hanks becomes Aquaman. That's the beginning of... That's the prequel to Aquaman.
Or at least they double date. Yeah, he controls her mind.
Aquaman never became a movie. No one did the Aquaman movie. We should write that.
Except Adrian Grenier in what's it called?
Oh, in Entourage?
Entourage, yeah.
There
he
you
played
go.
Aquaman.
That's right.
Of all the things for them to do, too, he's Aquaman?
Right. James Cameron's Aquaman, don't forget.
Yeah, kind of
In between Titanic and Avatar, he decides to do Aquaman.
So Jaina can be any animal in the animal kingdom. She can do whatever she wants. And her brother Zan, her equal supposedly,
Yes.
what can he do? Purple water. That's it. He can turn into
Boy, are you simplifying things.
three forms of H2O. That's it, man.
But he
unless I'm
can
missing
become
something.
anything if he wanted to. He can become anything water. He can become, like, they can't get into a door. He becomes an ice key, and you get into the door that way.
Right, so she turns into an elephant and knocks the door down, rendering his talent moot.
No, it's an elephant-proof door.
No, the only reason he does anything, first of all, he's a liability when it's time to travel because he has to turn into a pail of purple water that Gleek then carries. Or no, she carries. She turns
in her
into
talons, she becomes
shape of. Yeah, that's what
right.
they do. They go like this. They go shape up. Wonder Twin powers activate.
Form of an ice key.
She says any animal I desire to be. He's like I can be one of 3 forms of water.
Yes,
That's
but
it,
it's usually,
of
but also
H2O.
the fact that if you want a criminal to slip up, he
Steam.
becomes ice.
What's he going to be? Steam.
No, because
he has to go through a door. Who cares?
He becomes ice, and the criminal slips up.
That, again, see, he's lucky that he had a nice sister in Jaina because she patronized him basically by being like, hey, Zan, I'm going to knock these guys over. Why don't you, I'm going to be an ape. Why don't you turn into a sheet of ice and I'll bump them into you and they'll slip on you. And he'd be like, great idea, Jaina. Teamwork. He's like, yeah, some teamwork. Yeah, get back in the pail and I'll lug your butt home again.
So if you're ranking
and the blue monkey on my back, I'm
ranking,
not doing enough.
If you're ranking them in importance, it goes Jaina first, then it goes the Space Monkey Gleek, then it goes Zan.
I don't. Gleek
You say the monkey is more important
Gleek's
than Zan.
not a detriment, but Jaina, while in the midst of trying to bust up these crimes, also has to think, how am I gonna? How am I gonna throw my overly sensitive brother, who probably gets, unless he's completely dense, that I'm obviously the only one doing any real work here. You know?
Were they making love, you think, Zan and Jaina?
No, but now you've intrigued me with your idea about Aquaman getting her to be a fish and then having his way with her, but then trying to overcome the fact that if she's a fish, does he still want to have his way with her, or is that his thing? Is that one of the things? Listen, I don't put anything by Aquaman. He's already using them to gain fame and fortune and status at the Justice League. He's dispatching these poor dumb fish to do whatever he wants. Why wouldn't he go the extra mile and say, hey, while you're at it, like number 7 Roethlisberger in a dirty woman's toilet taking advantage of a 20-year-old girl, why wouldn't Aquaman do that to a blowfish?
You had to bring up 7.
Blowfish.
You had to bring up poor 7. I like the idea of Jaina and Aquaman having their date or their assault, whatever he does, and then Jaina having to go explain it to Zan that night. And then Zan, because he's usually feckless, has to go stand up to Aquaman. What did you do to my sister? And then, you know what? Then he's actually effective. Then he, becomes the water that Aquaman swims in, and then he freezes up, and then you capture Aquaman.
Isn't that an interesting fight? The fight
That's Act 3 of the movie.
Listen, dopes like Colin Cowherd,
you don't care for him.
4 or 5 years after if you'll recall, we did our super villain fights and our superhero fights, all that stuff. Johnny Come Latelys are doing that as though they've stumbled onto some great thing. How about the tournament of the worst superheroes? And that's an interesting bout, Aquaman versus Zan.
That's a really good one.
What a terrible fight that one
Are you
is.
still mad at Coward? You just mentioned
mad at him.
You don't like him? You don't get along with him?
I'm not a fan of his work, but I have no personal animus.
Have you ever talked to him one-on-one?
Sure, of course I have.
I remember that ESPN launch party. Remember that ESPN launch party?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've had a few encounters with him. We'll get to those at a later date, though. I'd be happy to share those stories. So you're going Apache Chief. I'm going. It's tough. I'm going Aquaman 1, Zan 2, because it's unfair to target him since he's just a superhero in training. And then, not Superman isn't lame, but if you're a fan of his, you got to take a long look at the man or woman in the mirror and ask yourself, where your priorities are. What's going on here with Jacuzzi Pete?
I just wanted to weigh in with the lame heroes.
Well, can we hear Jacuzzi Pete's intro? You're not to speak. I don't know why you're barging in. First of all, Jacuzzi Pete.
We tell you when to come in, not the other way around.
Show yourself to the dozens of viewers.
Look how red he gets, though. He gets
so
red when he gets on camera.
He's going to match. We're going to lose him in this couch. We're not going to be able to see his head. It's going to be a black sweatshirt.
I just want to weigh in with the superhero thing. Lame heroes.
Look at him put himself right in the middle of us.
Are we hearing your theme?
Well, if you had your headphones on, you would have heard it.
Oh, we already heard it? It played?
Yeah, it played.
Yeah, Damage Strike had a no headphones rule because we're on video. He goes, I don't want to see that.
Well, because look at this. Listen, I'm the only aesthetically pleasing thing in this otherwise awful
Before
shot.
he started, he goes, Feeney, by the way, no cans today. I go, no cans today? He didn't want the headphones on.
That's what I said.
No cans.
I'll put 'em on.
Definitely the Dave Damashek vanity project for sure.
Oh, how dare you.
The Dave Damashek Vanity Project.
Well, here we go.
Jacuzzi Pete, he's hiding out where his wife is not.
Now listen.
We got to come up with better lyrics. I mean, as usually when you write it, it's bad.
That's
I'll
a one-man house band,
Dick
Dick Banks effort, and
and
it's terrific. And it was pointed out to me that isn't just the late great Bob Palmer.
It's Power Station.
That's Power Station. Well, I'm sorry. Excuse me for getting that one wrong.
That was after your
Jacuzzi Pete. We have a lot of business to get
Yeah.
to. Please.
I'm just weighing in about the lame superheroes, and there are no good black superheroes. There never have been.
Black Falcon. He wasn't a good one. And it's condescending, too, that you have to identify him. You say it's not enough that he could just be Falcon. No, he has to be the Black Falcon.
First of all, it's
Black
African American.
Lightning.
Black Lightning. Who's that?
I didn't name him. His name is the Black Falcon.
Who's Black Lightning?
Black Vulcan,
Wait a minute.
the Black Panther.
Can I say something? Weren't that he's been looking at the
Wow,
internet?
that's outrageous.
He's been going. He's been
That really
Googling
is.
things.
I've been
Now I'm
Googling.
officially
He
offended
Googled the
by
last
this.
20 minutes.
All these people, all these superheroes, they have to put black in front of
That's
them?
what I'm saying.
That's outrageous.
That's outrageous.
I'm going
isn't
to
it?
blow your mind right now. I think Zan and Jaina, African American.
No. They're Asian.
They certainly weren't white.
They're Asian. I think their parents, I think they're from mixed ethnicity because I think they're part Asian and part Vulcan because they have the pointy ears. True. So I think that's
Black
what-
Falcon. Okay, you brought race into it. Controversial.
Yeah, well,
Fantastic.
Black Falcon is as Captain America's sort of sidekick, right? Isn't that
Kind of. I mean, he also
basically-
had Bucky, and in the '70s, I don't want to get hardcore on you, but
Please.
I
wasn't around them, but go ahead.
Bucky was like the Robin to Captain America. And then in the '70s or something, they tried to get a little more PC.
Well, then,
but then they called
Captain
Black
America
Falcon.
got killed and Bucky took over as Captain America. See, I know a little bit, and they are making the Captain America movie. I just read.
The only great stride I think they've done for black superheroes is they made a black guy one of the Green Lanterns.
All right.
I can't believe they didn't call him Black Lantern with the way it's going.
But you know what, though? Now that you bring this up, this is something, I don't know, you've really cast a light and apparently long overdue light on the this is just unacceptable. We hear a lot about in college football the lack of African-American head coaches.
Yeah.
But what about this? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jacuzzi.
I just want to enlighten you.
Away.
Scram. Be gone.
We'll call you when we want you.